Once Michaelis Elder gets to MTSU, he hopes to continue his success like he did at Blackman by being a student first and an athlete second. The Battle of the Borough, the historic rivalry between two Murfreesboro schools, which is between Oakland and Riverdale, had their 50th game in their 32-year showdown. For Rutherford County, early voters have more than doubled since last midterm election, and for statewide, it's hit over 1 million. Thank you, guys. High school football is coming to an end, and as we have 3 weeks left in the regular season, let's see how they all stacked up. The Oakland Patriots will play the Siegel Stars in a big-time matchup as the Stars try to make it to the playoffs. Blackman Blaze will play at home against Cookeville, who is also fighting to stay in the playoffs race with Siegel. The Riverdale Warriors will also be home, and they will face Coffee County Central to stay in the 3 seed. Check out all the coverage of the high school football games at DJing Sports. First, guys, I can tell you, it's Arkansas. That's the team, and yesterday one of Blackman. And the player is actually Trey Knox. Trey Knox committed to Arkansas yesterday morning and will join other commit and teammate Adonis Ote there this fall. Knox, who is a 4-star wide receiver, has been looked at by a lot of SEC teams, one of which was Tennessee. 2 weeks ago, he visited Knoxville. After his visit, he still decided to come and play for the Razorbacks. Knoxville has said, "I wanted to do what was best for me." That was from an interview with the Daily News Journal. He only has 3 games left in his high school career after this week's bye. He will play Cookeville, Stewart's Creek, and Riverdale. The Tennessee Titans came off of a huge win on Sunday against the reigning Super Bowl champs. The Titans beat the Philadelphia Eagles in a close game that came down to going into overtime. The Titans coming in and having some struggles with quarterback Marcus Mariota with a nerve pain in his throwing hand. Mariota finally started the whole game today and made a lot of big plays. At first, the Eagles were up 17-3 late in the third quarter. The Titans would make a comeback and score 17 points late in the fourth. But sadly for Titans fan, Eagles kicker Jake Elliott would make the tying field goal, which took them to overtime. There, the Eagles would score first, but it was a field goal, and you had to score a touchdown in order to win the game. Mariota would take his team 75 yards in 6 minutes to take the victory with an incredible pass to wide receiver Corey Davis. The Titans will play their next game on the road against the Buffalo Bills. Well, that's all for this week for sports. I'm going to toss it back to the desk. Michaelis Elder, a Blackman High wide receiver who is committed to MTSU. With Elder being a local kid, it's a pretty big deal to get an offer from MT.
I think it's really exciting for the hometown to get an in-city kid, and they have a lot to be excited about Michaelis.
We know with Michaelis that he has the ability, to go in and play, and that lets me know how high they think of him to be able to bring a local kid in who may not be the tallest, but skill set-wise, he's a dynamic kid.
Being a top player on the team, you got to give the young players some guidance before you leave.
Practice is more of a, that's the best guy. It's more of a, I'm going to teach you how to do this and that. And most likely they're going to listen because they see that we're getting offers. So, it's really a pleasure to be like one of those top commits.
Once Michaelis Elder gets to MTSU, he hopes to continue his success like he did at Blackman by being a student first and an athlete second. Elder is big on his education.
My mom always told me, always get your education no matter what. So, I listened, and I always was A and B student, always, no matter what, always, because nobody can take away this right here.
Elder isn't the only big-time talent. He also has Trey Knox, who is an SEC commit on the other side of the ball. So what keeps them from both getting a big head?
Just balancing things out. I expect high expectations from both of those guys, and they come in, week in and week out, understanding that at any given night, one of them has to be the Jordan and the other has to be the Scottie Pippen.
For News 3, I'm David James. Oakland Patriot football, home of some incredible talents. One of those talents is none other than Woody Washington. Woody is a 4-star corner who just committed to the University of Oklahoma. One of the reasons why he picked there really isn't surprising.
Just they're a passing conference and I play DB, so it'll give me a good chance to showcase my skills.
While playing at Oakland, Woody also plays wide receiver. He has caught for 270 yards this season. As a corner, he has 13 solo tackles, 22 total. He also has 5 interceptions. The one thing that everyone talks about Woody is he's a workhorse.
We ask a lot out of him, but he gives a lot in return.
Once Woody makes it to Oklahoma, he hopes to get started early. But right now, he just wants to help win the big dance.
Like right now, I'm just focused on winning state for here. So we came up short all the times that I've been here, all 4 years. So.
The one thing Woody wants all of Oakland fans to remember him by is
that I came every day, came to work hard every day.
He still hopes to keep up the hard work for the rest of the season.
You know what he's doing when he comes off like this.
Siegel High, home of the Stars. Also home to MTSU star Brent Stockstill, who's remembered for one big game.
Is playing in the semifinal game on a torn ACL and throwing for 387 yards.
Brent threw for 373 yards with 4 touchdowns and completing 23 of 35 pass attempts. Those are amazing stats, but sadly for Brent, Maryville came back and won 47-43. But Brent's performance is still
It's stuff that legends are made of.
If there was any possible way that I could get out there and play and help my team, then I was going to do that, and I was able to, and obviously we came up a little short, but just the competitor in you isn't going to let anything stop you. So no matter if it's an injury or what the circumstance is, you want to be out there playing.
After Brent's monster game, he had to make a transition from high school to college athletics. Now that Brent's going into his senior year at MT, what if he never signed here? For signing day, he decided to sign with Cincinnati, but later decided to go here and play alongside his father, Rick Stockstill. Brent has always wanted to play for his dad.
But when I came down to it, I feel like you can't pass up the opportunity to play for your dad. To share those experiences, both the good and the bad, I think I couldn't pass that up.
Yeah.
And I told him driving home, I said, Brent, this is a coach speaking, not your dad. I said, you're everything a coach wants to coach, from toughness, competitiveness, leadership. You're a good player, all that stuff. You're going to have a great career at Cincinnati. You know, and he looked at me and said, Dad, all I ever want to do is play for you. You know, so that hit me like a ton of bricks.
Brent has some incredible stats here at MT, being in the top 3 of passing yards and touchdowns thrown. There leads to one question: what hasn't Brent done? Well, he is 0-3 against our biggest rival in Western Kentucky.
I think, as a quarterback, you're only judged off your wins, and then especially when you're playing your rival. First year we got blown out up there, and they had a really good team, and then back-to-back triple overtime losses. So I take full responsibility for all those, and you know, hopefully I can change the tide this year, because that means a lot.
The one thing about Brent that everyone knows, he's a great leader, and his teammates love playing for him.
You know, he's a very energetic guy. He leads really good by example. I mean, he's an awesome player. You know, everybody sees what he does to get where he's at. And, you know, it makes it easier on us knowing he's back there just kind of running things.
Brent's new and old coaches all know he's an excellent leader.
Work, guys, work, guys.
The good ones, most of them, 90% of them, have that ability to move everybody in the room and to make them better, and he certainly has that.
I think his leadership skills probably stick out as much as anything else.
For NSCN, I'm David James.